5 free plays for NFL Week 14. That's what I've got on the docket here today on the Power 5 at WagerTalk. One of the 5 plays is going to be on the Sunday night matchup between the Texans and the Chiefs. Be sure to stay tuned for that. We are absolutely rolling right now, guys, over at WagerTalk.com. A 5% winner on the Lions Thursday, Lions -3. Thanks to all who joined me for that one. Now on an 8-2-1 run with NFL sides and totals the last 3 weeks. That's 80%. I followed up the win on the Lions by going 2-0 on Friday with a college football best bet on Boise State, not to mention a 20-plus point winner with a college basketball total. In just a little bit, after I go through some free plays, I'll be letting you know how to get my top NFL bet for Sunday. Just also a reminder, smash that like button whenever you do agree with one of these free plays. I'm sure you're going to agree with at least one of them. Always feel free to comment down below with your thoughts as well, right down below me. I'm going home dog heavy on Sunday, just as a bit of forewarning. Let's start with the Falcons +7 against the Seahawks. Market can't seem to figure this Atlanta team out, can they? Can it? 2 weeks ago, Atlanta closes as an underdog at New Orleans, and then they win 20-4-10. Last week, the Dirty Birds closed as road favorites at the Jets, 3-point road favorites, and they lose outright on a last-second field goal there. Now, Atlanta is a home dog this week, so we're talking about a situation they've gone from road dog to road favorite to home dog. I'm going to take the points. Yes, they're facing Seattle, who's a very good team. Seattle's number 1 in DVOA, number 1 in yards per play differential, in fact. But I think the Seahawks laying a touchdown on the road here is a bit much. Seahawks offense only gained 219 total yards last week against Minnesota. I know that game eventually got out of hand and was a blowout, but that was due to 5 Vikings turnovers. It was only 3-0 late in the first half when Max Brosmer made an inexplicable decision in the red zone. The Vikings were going in to at least tie the game, if not take the lead. I'd say Seattle quarterback Sam Darnold has been regressing over the last month or so. He's near the bottom of the league in completion percentage over expectation during that time. Actually posted his lowest QBR of the season last week, Darnold did, and he really struggled against the Minnesota Blitz. Well, guess what? Atlanta's defense blitzes at the second highest rate in the league and trailing only the Vikings. So if he struggled against the Vikings, Darnold, it stands to reason he may struggle against this Falcons defense. And the Falcons, despite their poor 4-8 straight-up record, they've got a positive yards per play differential on the season, a better yards per play differential than the Chiefs, believe it or not. Each of Atlanta's last 4 losses, guys, has been by 6 points or fewer. I know not having wide receiver Drake London again this week is less than ideal for Kirk Cousins. London out with a PCL sprain, still out with a PCL sprain, but I think the Falcons keep it close. All right, number 2, let's go with the Raiders +7.5 against Denver. I am so sorry that I had to say those words, but and I could sense many of you already probably commenting down below, calling me nasty names. That's okay. However, let's talk about the Broncos for a minute, shall we? I bet against this Broncos team last Sunday night, ended up with a 4% best bet winner on the Commanders, +6. Thank you very much. Incredibly, Denver, who has a 10-2 straight-up record now, has found itself trailing in all 12 games this season. According to Opta stats, they do a great job. Broncos are the first team in league history to have trailed in each of their first 12 games and win 10 of them. So it's kind of a historical run that the Broncos are on. Not kind of, it is a historical run. And here's the deal for this week. The Broncos never win by margin, okay? Their last 4 wins have all been by 3 points or fewer. 7 of their last 8 wins have come by 4 points or fewer. Now, you're probably saying, yeah, BP, I get it, Denver, whatever, they don't win by margin, but the Raiders stink. Well, 4 weeks ago, the Raiders faced the Broncos in Denver and lost only 10-7 as an 8.5-point road underdog. Now they're getting 7.5 at home. I'll take the points. Number 3, let's take the Cardinals +8 versus the Rams. I told you we were going home dog heavy on this week's Power 5. Everyone's expecting the Rams to bounce back here after they suffered a shocking loss as 10-point favorites in Carolina last week. Of course, for me, that game was another 5% winner. Had the over, a bet which cashed not long after halftime. But here's the thing about expecting the Rams to bounce back, guys. While a straight-up win does seem pretty likely, I'll concede that, Arizona rarely gets blown out. The Cardinals are much better than their 3-9 straight-up record. A lot like Atlanta with their 4-8 straight-up record. 7 of Arizona's 9 losses this season have been by 4 points or less. They're 14-6 against the spread their last 20 games as an underdog. Going to say it for a third straight time here on the Power 5. Let's take the points with the home dog. Now to Sunday Night Football, where the Texans are taking on the Chiefs. Massive playoff implications in this one. If the Chiefs lose, they would not have the tiebreak against the Texans, obviously. They would not have the tiebreak against the Jaguars, who they lost to. They would not have the tiebreak against the Chargers, who they've lost to. Still one more game to go. They've still got one more meeting with the Chargers, but they're not going to sweep the season series, obviously. And they don't have the tiebreak against the Bills, who they lost to. In other words, if Kansas City falls to 6-7 by losing this game, their playoff hopes will be on life support. I like the under here. Now, on Thanksgiving, I bet the over when the Chiefs faced the Cowboys, but that bet was very much opponent related. Plus, it was a road game for KC. At home, the Chiefs have held 10 straight opponents to 20 points or less, and 20 of the last 25 visitors under their respective team totals. This Texans offense, not even close to as good as the Cowboys. But the Texans defense, well, it's quite good. As a matter of fact, it's given up the fewest points and yards in the entire league. This is destined to be a low-scoring affair. Give me the under 41.5 for Texans Chiefs. All right, I do have one more free play for you here today. But before I get to it, let me tell you about my top NFL play for Sunday. How about we do that now? You can get it right now, WagerTalk.com. It is another 5% max bet. Mentioned that 8-2-1 run with NFL sides and totals the last 3 weeks. That includes Thursday's 5% winner with the Lions, -3, and last Sunday's 5% winner on the Rams-Panthers over. Time to make it 3 straight 5% winners in the NFL on Sunday. Go to wt.buzz/BP. Click the link in the description below as we look to keep it rolling through the weekend. All right, last free play for the day. It is a 2-team 6-point teaser. And we're going to go with the Vikings is the first leg. The Vikings are now underdogs at home to the Commanders. So let's take the Vikes from +1.5 up to +7.5. And for the second leg, let's look at the Monday Night Football game. Let's tease the Chargers from +2.5 up to +8.5. This is pretty standard Wong teaser here. In both instances, we're going through the key numbers of 3 and 7. And the other thing that I like, you're talking about games with low totals. So this very much fits the profile of what you want to do with the Wong teaser. Again, as you see on your screen, that's Vikings +1.5 to +7.5, Chargers +2.5 to +8.5. As long as you can tease these teams up to 7.5, you are good to go. All right, it is recap time here on the Power 5. Let's go through everything one more time. Falcons +7 versus the Seahawks. Number 2. Raiders +7.5 versus the Broncos. Number 3, Cardinals +8.5 versus the Rams. Then in the Sunday night game, we like the under 41.5 between the Texans and Chiefs. And then how about a 2-team 6-point teaser? Vikings up to +7.5. Chargers, that's the Monday night game, up to +8.5. This is your last chance to comment down below with your thoughts, unless you want to. Of course, if you've thought of something else and want to come back to this video, feel free to do that at any time. You want to ask me any questions, you can do that as well. If I see the question time, I'll be more than happy to answer. I will be monitoring the comments section up through kickoff on Sunday. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Power 5. Do not forget to both like and subscribe. Remember that 5% play this Sunday. I really think you're going to enjoy it. Hop on board. Looking to make it 3 straight 5% winners in the NFL. WT.buzz/BP. Click the link in the description below. Until next time, let's cash some tickets.